There are 3 steps to effective business correspondence writing. The first step is to think. The second step is to draft. The third step is to finalize. We've learned that we need to think before we speak. Similarly, before we write, we also need to think about what we want to say and what we want to achieve. A customer sent Debbie a purchase order, but some of the requested items are on back order. Debbie is writing a letter to inform her customer about the situation and get the customer's approval for a late delivery. After we work out the content and the purpose of the document, we can start putting ideas on paper. The easiest way is to write down our thoughts quickly in point form. At this step, we shouldn't be concerned about any specific details, our choice of words, or the order of the content. Here's Debbie's rough draft. It contains reference to the purchase order, explanation of the delay, confirmation of the first delivery, and approval confirmation for the second delivery. After we have all the ideas written down, we then have to organize and put them together. Here are a few tips. Be logical so readers can follow our flow of thoughts. Check the content by reading it out loud. Use plain English. Avoid complicated words or technical jargon. Be courteous and empathize with the readers, especially when writing a complaint letter or delivering bad news. Be precise and direct to the point. Repetition and unnecessary words waste time and can confuse readers. Let's look at how Debbie finalizes her content so far. She is courteous and empathizes with her reader. Her choice of words is precise and direct in plain English. She puts down her content in a logical order starting with an acknowledgement of the purchase order, an explanation of the delay and details of the delayed items, and lastly, an approval confirmation for the second delivery date. When we have the content worked out, we need to consider how we're going to send it so we can put our content into the right format. We can send our document by letter, facsimile, or email. Let's look at each one of them. Here is Debbie's content in a letter format. This part contains the sender's company name and address. Most business letterheads already have these details pre-printed. A letter should have the date when it was written. This part contains the receiver's name, position, the company name, and address. Usually, we start a letter with a greeting like Dear Sir or Madam, or in this case, Dear Mr. Mortensen, when we know the receiver's name. Re or reference indicates the subject or purpose of the letter. This part is the content that we've previously worked out. We usually end a business letter with a complimentary closing, such as yours sincerely or yours faithfully. Finally, a letter needs to be signed and followed by the sender's typewritten name and position. Here is the same document ready to be sent by facsimile. Most companies have pre-printed fax covers, which already have all the sender's details. It's a good idea to specify how many pages there are so the receiver can check if they have got all the pages. Here is the same document in email format. Notice that in the email, we specify the receiver's detail by his email address only. CC is an abbreviation for carbon copy. We can send a copy of this document to other people by typing their email addresses here. Debbie's sending a copy of this document to Bill, so he's informed about the situation. We can't sign the email document, but we should still include our name and position. In this topic, we've learned that business correspondence writing can be divided into 3 steps. The first step is to think about what to write and what we want to achieve. The second step is to draft our rough ideas in point form. The third step is to finalize the document by organizing the content and putting it into the right format, which can then be sent by letter, facsimile, or email. A service invoice or work order is a key document, which we use to communicate with both our customers and workmates. It's a legal contract between us as the service provider and our customer. It contains details of the services to be provided by us and the authorization from the customer. To make sure that everyone understands clearly about what's involved, a service invoice or work order should contain information about our company or service providers, our customer, their vehicle, the service operations, and parts requirements. Some service invoices or work orders also contain accounting information, so that they can be used as invoices. First, let's look at the Service Provider section. This section contains information about company name, address, and contact details, the name of a service advisor who's looking after the job, and the amount of time the service technician will have to service the vehicle. Next comes the Customer section, which includes the customer's name, address, and contact numbers. Now comes the Vehicle section, which includes the details of the vehicle to be serviced. We should check the vehicle's license plate before we start working on it. The license plate numbers are normally unique within a country. We should also record information about the vehicle's make, model, and color. This information will make it easier for us to locate the vehicle on the parking lot. We need to know the manufacture date of the vehicle to be able to order the right spare parts. The odometer reading and the date will help keep track of how much distance the vehicle travels and the time period between each visit to the workshop. The VIN or Vehicle Identification Number is designed to be unique in the world. It contains specific information about the vehicle. In this example, the first digit 1 identifies that the vehicle is designed for the U.S. market. W means the world market. The second digit is the manufacturer's code. In this example, G stands for General Motors. The next digit identifies the make of the vehicle. 1 stands for Chevrolet. The code for the vehicle restraint system usually comes next. In this example, A stands for manual belts. The following digit normally identifies the vehicle line within a manufacturer's range. P stands for Sport Coupe Z28 model. Next comes the code for the body type and the number of doors. 87 stands for two-door coupe, and then the code for the engine type. In this example, G stands for 305 cubic inch V8 L69 engine. Then comes the manufacturer's check digit, and then the code for the year of the model. E stands for 1984, followed by the code for the facility or assembly plant that produced the vehicle. This vehicle is produced at Van Nuys, which is coded L. The last 6 digits are the numbers of the production sequence. Vehicles of different makes and models will sometimes have different VIN coding systems. We can find out more information about how to interpret the VIN of a specific vehicle in the shop manuals. This section contains the details of the service operations and spare parts. The first part is the service operation details. In this example, the vehicle is in for a 150,000-mile service, which can be done in 3 hours, resulting in a $165 labor cost. The information about the chargeable labor time to complete a specific task can be found in a labor guide manual. In some workplaces, this information is built into the computer system and will be automatically displayed. The second part of this section is the details of spare parts used in the service, including the descriptions, quantities, codes, and costs. The codes for each service and spare part are normally abbreviations that are used for easy reference in the workshop. Some workshops may have their own reference code system. As we do the vehicle inspection, we may discover other things that are in need of replacement or repair. These additional services can be recorded in the Other section. It's essential that we check with our customers and obtain their approvals before carrying out any additional services. The accounting section contains information about the methods of payment, which can be cash, credit card, or account. An account system can be set up to handle all payments related to a customer or a company who have a number of vehicles using our service. When a vehicle on an account system comes in, we need to record both the account number and the order number. To work out the total cost of the service, we need to know the labor cost, which in this case is the sum of line 1, the cost of spare parts, which in this case is the sum of lines 4, 5, and 6, the tax amounts, and the costs of gas and consumables we use to service the car. We also need to have the customer's authorization to carry out the service. Remember, if we need to make any changes to this service invoice or work order after the authorization, we'll need to check with the customer first. In this topic, we have learned that a service invoice or work order needs to have details about our company or service providers, our customer, their vehicle, the service operations and parts, and the accounting information. When we inspect a vehicle, we need to check that all components and systems are operational, secured, and safe in accordance with the vehicle's manufacturer recommendations. An inspection report is a useful guide when conducting a vehicle inspection. By following the checklist in the report, we can test all the components in a systematic way and ensure that they are operational or serviceable. We should report any defects we find to our supervisor so they can be brought to the customer's attention. Let's look at a sample of an inspection report. To complete the report, we need to inspect all the components and systems on the checklist, including the steering and suspension, brakes, driveline, fuel system, cooling system, exhaust system, tires, lights, electrical system, visibility, and general components. In this topic, we've learned that we can use an inspection report as a guideline for a vehicle inspection. One way to ensure safety in our workshop is to conduct weekly or monthly equipment inspections. Well-maintained equipment will result in a safe work environment. Whenever we come across any defective equipment, we should tag the defective items and put them in a secured area so no one else can use them by mistake. Complete an equipment defect report and notify our supervisor. Our immediate actions can help protect our workmates from accidents and injuries. If there is an accident resulting from defective equipment, we'll need to complete both accident and equipment defect report. Let's look at a sample of an equipment defect report. Firstly, we need to record the date when the defect is detected, the location of the defective equipment, the name of the equipment and, if possible, the serial number, the description of the defect, and the action we have taken. Then we need to sign our names as reporters. Finally, we need to notify our supervisor. In this topic, we've learned that when we come across defective equipment, we should tag the defective items and put them in a secured area, complete an equipment defect report, and notify our supervisor immediately. Safety is the most important issue in the workplace. We must make a conscious decision to work safely and act responsibly to protect others and ourselves. Unfortunately, accidents do happen. When one occurs, an accident report should be completed. The information in the report is used to protect both employees and employers. To make sure that the information is accurate, the accident report should be completed as soon as practically possible while we still remember the facts of the accident. Let's look at a sample of an accident report. Firstly, we need to record the date and the time when the accident happened, the name of the person who's injured, the place where the accident happened, the details of the accident, and the treatment. We also need to note if the accident will be subject to or covered by any insurance claims. Finally, we need to sign and write down our names as reporters. In this topic, we've learned that we should complete an accident report immediately after an accident.